Alrighty, beautiful and strong people, welcome back to lesson 9, common faults of the squat mastery. This one is going to be dedicated to common faults. So like identifying the common faults and why we might actually have this fault, okay? Because it's not always about the focus. It may potentially be a weak musculature, a weak link in there that actually needs to be addressed. And we're going to get into the troubleshooting and pretty much fixing those troubleshoots on the next lesson. But I just want you guys to actually go through it and pretty much be able to identify where the breakdown might actually be. Because if you know the breakdowns, you can actually prevent them. Okay, so let's start with the upper body faults. We might have upper back rounding, which may potentially mean that we have weak lat engagement or weak erectors. Head position errors, okay, we're either looking too high or down. Grip too narrow, we're going to jam our shoulders and it's not really going to feel good because we're also going to lose that stability and that base from which the body is actually sitting on. If the grip is too wide, we're going to have loose scabs and the bar will actually roll all over the place. If the elbows are flared out, it's going to be very hard to actually engage our lats. When it comes to the lower body folds, the classic one, dancing feet, there is no rooting, especially after the walkout. If your knee cave, it might be weak glutes because your glutes just can't really sustain that abduction. But it can also mean, of course, your rooting. Your root might not actually be fully locked in, and because of that, your knees start to actually cave in. If your hips pop up first and you're turning it into a stripper squat, you may have potentially lost the brace, or you may have potentially have to some degree some quad weakness. So if you can't really get out of the hole while moving your torso, knees, and hips simultaneously, okay, in a straight line, that might potentially mean that you don't really have that power through your quads to actually get you out of the hole. Shifting and windmilling might actually mean uneven rooting or uneven stance. So for example, if you have your left foot like this and your right foot like this is going to be very uneven. Okay, so it's going to be very normal for your hips to actually shift around. Now, when it comes to the brace and tension, if you're losing the brace mid-rep, your torso will start to collapse. If you're breathing vertically, you're going to get into a rib flare. If you can't sustain under load the brace or the rib cage to the pelvis, that might mean that your abs might need some working in there. If you're exhaling fully, you're going to have no intra-abdominal pressure. And again, you're going to have your torso collapse. If you're using the belt passively and just relying on gear instead of musculature, you're going to, again, start to have that torso collapse because you can't really sustain the brace. Now, head and elbow position. If the head is too high, overextension, we're losing the brace. If the head is too low, torso collapse, we're losing the brace. If the elbows are outside the bar path, we're going to have bar instability because we're not having the lats locked in. If the elbows are tucked way too much, okay, so we're having the elbow too forward, again, we're not going to be able to actually engage with our lats, so the bar will be very unstable and we can even get a shoulder straight. With the belt and grip errors, the classic one, of course, belt too tight. Everyone wants to, put their belts so freaking tight. I think that they're actually inspired by the way Ronnie Coleman used to put his belt, like he would use like the rack to anchor it and just pull it back so you can keep it as tight as possible. That did not look really pretty. But yeah, if the belt is too tight, you're relying on, the passive tension and you can't breathe properly, which, is a problem in itself. If the belt is too loose, you don't have any kind of feedback to actually press against. Okay, so you're kind of keeping the belt for no particular reason. It's absolutely useless. It becomes useless. You might as well just squat without a belt. If the grip is loose or opening during the squat, the bar will stay unstable on your back. It might go a little bit forward or a little bit back. It's going to, your center of mass will go south, so not a good idea. Keep it tight. If the hands are too close, you're going to jam your shoulders and you're not going to be able to actually create that shelf that the bar should actually sit on. So as a visual checklist, faults by category, okay? For the upper body, you want to look for rounding, head errors, grip width. Okay. For the lower body, you want to look for the knee cave, stripper squat, or dancing fit. When it comes to the brace and tension, you want to see whether or not you're losing brace, whether or not you're breathing vertically, or just keeping the belt too tight. And of course, elbows up, out, shifting, or just unbalanced stance in general. Now, how we're actually going to fix this? Start by filming from the side and front. So you can actually look for the bar path, whether it stays vertical or not, hips and chest timing, knee tracking versus foot root, brace, and ribs. Are they stacked or are they not? So in summary, everyone breaks under load. It's normal. We're lifting really heavy loads. Maybe our max or new max, maybe just under our 1 rep max. So some degree of, let's say, breaking is going to be there. But as long as we're actually holding that global tension in there and everything is tight, we should be good. Okay, the key is actually to spot it, because if it becomes consistent and not only on heavier loads, but more so towards the sub-maximal loads, then that's a sign. That's direction. We know where our focus should be. Okay, so upper body, scap, head, and grip. Lower body, feet, knee, and hips. Brace, breathing, air, and belt. Video review is your number one diagnostic tool. So the more you can actually record yourself, especially from the side on the squat, but also from the front, the more context you're going to have. We're going to meet on the next one where we're going to troubleshoot and find fixes. Have a good one.